So you're planning to visit Madeira. Quite a lot is happening in 2026, so you're going to want to know these essential 21 tips before you visit. I have things from food to hiring cars to all of the apps you want to download, and along the way I'm going to stop off at some of my favourite places I recommend in Funchal and stay around for a bonus tip at the end for a cheap cheat meal in Funchal. So let's get started. Let's start with the biggest change in 2026, and that's the hiking trail reservations. You have to register all of your hiking trails for the official trails on the Simplifica website. I'll link it in the description below, but you need to register and pay. Now, I know some people might not be happy with this, but hopefully it will try and control some of the numbers. For safety, I can kind of see it. Some of them, you know, they're not the easiest hike, so at least you know who's on which trail. That will make life easier in emergency circumstances. And then also, hopefully some of that money goes to maintaining it and maintaining it even better than it is now, so it's easier and more sustainable to walk on. Make sure you register early, because you have to do it by time slot. So if there's no slots, then you can't go. So make sure you do it early so you're not disappointed. Don't think that you can just find another route onto the trail, or maybe there's no one there at the start and you can just go onto it without paying or registering, because wardens or rangers do walk up and down the trails and they will fine you. It can be up to 250 euros. So you definitely don't want to do that just for the sake of 4 euros, 4 euros 50. Big change for 2026, but if you want to get into the mountains and hike on the official trails, make sure you register on Simplifica. Again, details in the description. The Funchal Cable Car behind me is one of the most popular attractions in the whole of the city, especially to people coming off the cruise ships. It's so busy, there are queues all the way down the street waiting to go up. It goes up to Mont, an area just above Funchal, a very pretty place. However, from the 5th of January, which has already been of course, until April, it's closed for maintenance. Now that is a good thing, but if I know how things get done in Portugal, it might take even a little bit longer. But I was trying to work out, do you want to be the person who goes on it on the last day before the closure, or do you want to be the person who goes on it on the first day of the opening? Which one's more safe? However, do be aware in your planning that it is going to be closed until those dates. Check, of course. But you know what? I'm not sure how much of an issue that really is, because the advice I give people and the advice I take myself is, if you don't want to do the toboggan, which for me is slightly overrated, albeit unique, then what I normally do, or what I advise to do, is go up to the top in a taxi or a bus, go early, have a look around the area, have a look around the botanical gardens, enjoy yourself, and then take the cable car back down when everyone is going up. And then you avoid the queues here, because trust me, the queues are crazy. Now obviously you can't do that until it's open anyway, but you can still take the bus and you can still take an Uber or a Bolt up to the top and have a look around. Everything at the top is still open. The toboggans are still there, the botanical gardens are still there, the cafes and the bars are still there. So don't write it totally off your list, but yeah, be aware. For the first quarter of the year, this place is a no-go. Now, one of the big announcements for 2026 is that PR1, the most popular and the most famous hike on the entire island, the peak-to-peak hike from Pico de Arriero to Pico Ruivo, is going to open again. It's been closed for a long, long time due to the fires and the destruction that they caused 18 months to 2 years ago. It's been closed because it was just too dangerous, but they've been working on it and they've been stabilizing the ground. And finally, as of April 2026, keep an eye on the official date, it's going to be open again. Now, it will be a paid hike. In fact, it's going to be the most expensive hike on the entire island, but it's worth it. It's incredible, and I'm very happy that it's going to be open again, even though I'm going to leave before that. But if you're into hiking and you have some good fitness, it's a hike you don't want to miss. Hire a car which is powerful enough for the roads here, or the mountains here more specifically, because I get it, it's going to be tempting. You've already spent a lot of money on your holiday. You're going to want to go for the cheapest option, right? You see a good deal, you might want to get it. But I promise you, around town it might be fine. But to get out, get on the highway, you want a bit of power, right? If you're overtaking someone, just for safety. But then also going into the mountains, especially if you're more than one person, when you have a passenger or even passengers, up to 4 people, those smaller cars really do start to struggle. And you definitely don't want that. It's not safe, it's not fun, just a little bit miserable actually. So get yourself a car which has enough power, a turbo ideally. If you can get a turbo, that would be perfect. If it's in the older style, go for like a 1.4 minimum. But if you can get something with a turbo, you're going to be a lot happier, I promise you. But what you want to do is find a company who's going to hire you a car without scamming you for your deposit, who's reputable, who's friendly, and just all round putting you at peace of mind so you can enjoy the island. And I have one for you. I only hire from one place, the same place. And before I got this bike and my monkey bike previously, I used to hire a scooter when people came over. So I started using the companies myself. I found one where the guy is incredibly trustworthy, fair pricing, good policies, not trying to do you over, just a really nice guy, local guy, and a growing company because of that. Fantastic reviews. It's called Blitz Rent. It's based in the center of Funchal. They are moving location, but it is in Funchal. You can hire scooters, you can hire cars, you can collect from the airport, or you can collect from Funchal and then drop off. Is the same thing, of course. I recommend them. I always use them. My grandfather visited recently and I hired a car from them. If you would like to use them, and I recommend that you do, there'll be a link in the description where you can find all of their information and a discount, by the way. Quote the channel name and you'll get 5% off your hire. And I can't recommend them highly enough. Everyone who I've recommended to use them also can't recommend them highly enough. If you are thinking of hiring a car or a scooter, no matter for how long, 100% use Blitz Rent. It's not even a question. If you do not want to hire a car, and I get it, for some people it's just too much, I still recommend that you get yourself out to Funchal, because I've said this in a few videos and I mean it. If you haven't got into the mountains of Madeira, you haven't really visited Madeira. You must get out to Funchal. Yes, you can take buses, but if you're not going to hire a car, I highly recommend you take a Jeep tour. And now there are lots of Jeep tour companies here in Madeira. All sorts of price points, all sorts of quality points. There's shared tours and there's private tours. Depending on what you're looking for, you can generally find it. However, in my experience, without doubt, the #1 tour guide in Madeira is one I have filmed with before, and it's Duarte from Madeira Green and Blue Tours. He is, beyond anything else, let's just say he's a fantastic guy. I always have fun when I go out with him and I film with him. And obviously I've recommended him in the past, and I've bumped into people who have been on his tours. They always give me the best feedback, glowing feedback, saying how amazing he is and how amazing the tour is. You will not find a guy who is more committed and more caring to make sure you have a good time. So you can find all of his details in the description. You can also find a discount code. You will get 10% off your tour if you quote the name JoeyP when you speak to him, but you must go direct. Find his website or contact him on WhatsApp. You will have the best time. I promise you that. Now, one thing I absolutely love about Madeira is the fact that there is so much going on, so many events, so many things to do, and so many festivals. You can almost find a festival on almost every day of the year, whether that's in Funchal and the big ones like the Flower Festival or the Rum Festival or Christmas, to all of the little ones in the little villages like the Cherry Festival or the Tuna Festival or whatever it is. There's always something going on. Now, last year, in my tips video, I said finding what's going on and when it's going on is the big problem. And you can join all these different groups and some post some things, some post others. It's just a bit of a pain in the ass. But this year, I have a solution for you. There's a new app called Madeira Unlocked. You can download this from the App Store, whether you're on Android or whether you're on Apple. And in there, it has all of the events, all of the things to do, and all of the festivals, including some discounts and partners, so that's another benefit for you. But everything is there in a calendar where you can see it. You're never going to miss out on these things, because trust me, having been coming here for 8 years and having been living here for 3 years, one of the best things you can do on the island is getting out to these festas. There's music, there's food, there's partying, there's drink, of course, but it's fantastic, and you 100% want to do it. I love going to these things. Even if I don't film them, I just take them for my own enjoyment. Now, download the app and everything is on there completely for for free. If you would like, and you would like to get discounts on certain things to do, or certain restaurants or whatever else, you can sign up for their premium passes. You can get a weekly pass, a monthly pass, or an annual pass if you're living here. There's things on there like canyoning, massages, restaurants, sailing trips, hiking, all sorts of things where you can get discounts on. But the calendar is the big thing for me. If you're visiting, even for a few days or even for a week, download the app. You can find all of the information in the description as you normally can, or you can scan the QR code. You definitely want to be doing that because I promise you, you do not want to miss out on these local opportunities. You're gonna love it. Food, and for that I've come to a little tashka, a little authentic local place for lunch. I'll tell you that at the end of this segment because you definitely want to try this place. But food is something that's very important for me and I hope is very important for you. Food in Madeira is, how would I describe it? I would say it's simple, it's fresh, it's delicious for what it is. It's not gonna blow your mind, it's not gonna be the best food you've ever had in your life, but it is honest and it is hearty. And of course you have things like pastel de nata. It's Portugal, of course, you can definitely get them. But there are a lot of foods here that are found not just in Madeira, but are Madeiran specialities. And I just wanted to tell you a few of them for you guys to look out for on the menu. One of them I've got here is my soup. It's a sopa de trigo, it's a barley soup, very warming soup, something that you want to eat in the mountains and that you'll find in the mountains. Very hearty, as I said, and very delicious. I have it served with bolo de caco, the stone-baked flatbread covered in garlic butter and parsley. Absolutely delicious. You get it with everything in Madeira, and it's one of the best things. You can't beat bread and garlic butter, of course, but it's so flat and toasted, crispy on the outside, soft and fluffy in the middle, usually homemade and home-baked. Definitely, if you see it on the menu, try it. Next is probably the most popular dish in Madeira, and one you must try. It's called espetada, or beef skewers. Now, traditionally, the beef was skewered on laurel leaf, on bay leaf sticks. Now most places do them on metal skewers, but then they take cubes of beef, put them onto the skewer, cover them in garlic, salt, and crushed up bay leaves, and then cook them on an open wood fire, charcoal fire. It is so good. Again, very simple and very honest, but when it's good, it's incredibly good. One of my favorite dishes here on the island, and that's normally served with milho frito, fried cornmeal. Think of it like polenta. It's cooked, it's set, it's cut into cubes, and then it's deep fried. Can't get much better than that, can you? A couple more meat dishes. I'm not gonna call everything out that you can eat here in Madeira, but two more meat dishes. First of all is prego, steak sandwich, served in that bolo de caco, the garlic flatbread. Can come with an egg, can come with ham, can come with salad. This is really good, and then get that with a portion of fries. This place here is actually very good for it, for sure. And then you have picado, which is essentially fries, normally homemade fries if it's a good place. Cubes of meat served, well, they're fried off and then they're served in a gravy sauce with a fresh tomato on top. This one is good if you want a meaty treat. Fish. Now, being an island, you would think that this place is obsessed with fish. But I would say Madeira is more of a meat lover's paradise than a fish lover's paradise. However, there is one fish that reigns supreme above all others, and that is the espada, the black scabbard fish. It's a deep sea fish, has big eyes, ferocious teeth, and looks all a bit unappetizing. But let me tell you, when it's cleaned up and it's filleted, it is absolutely delicious. And you can find it, again, in almost every restaurant. Traditionally, it's just served with potatoes or rice or salad. However, you see it a lot of places with banana being a staple of Madeira. But I wouldn't say that's a traditional dish. The bananas are good, the fish is good. Together, I would avoid it. So have the espada, find a good place for the espada, including this place, but I wouldn't have espada con banana. Now, there are other fish here. This one is like a snapper. This is also delicious. When he's got it on the menu, I come here for it because it's so good and they cook it so well. But again, you want to make sure that you're getting the right place, and you want to make sure that they're serving fresh fish and they're cooking it well. So I'm a bit fussy about where I eat these things, especially in Funchal, but this one I know is good. And then finally, a couple of sweet treats that you'll find in most bakeries. Queijada, it's made with like a cream cheese sweetened filling with a little bit of pastry on the outside. Pastel de nata that I've mentioned. And then my personal favorite, pão de Deus, a sweet brioche bun, I guess, bread, topped with coconut and sugar. Very, very, very good. The point is, you don't want to just be going half board or full board when you come to Madeira. You want to try the food. You want to get out and try those rustic places that are serving good food. That's why I said avoid the Old Town. And if you would like to find over 180 places to drink, to eat, guaranteed that you're going to get good food, you can buy my food map right here. It's on sale right now. I promise you, you do not want to miss it. It will load into your Google Maps and you'll have location pins of my recommendations on this island. It's worth having. That's all I need to say. Get it here, or find the link in the description, guys. And before we finish, I promised you a recommendation. It's this place, Atendinha, a little hole-in-the-wall restaurant. Fantastic food, not many tables, but I promise you guys, one of the best places to eat in Funchal, especially if you like fish. All right, now this is an important one. If you like good food and good value food, do not eat in the Old Town, Rua Santa Maria. Yes, it's pretty. You have the painted doors, you have artwork on the walls. It's a nice place to walk through. It's a nice place to come and take some photos. But the food is a no-no for me. Touristy, not good value, 100% avoid it. I've never walked through and thought, that on that plate looks good, I'm gonna eat here. Never. I just don't eat here, avoid it. Apart from one place. At the beginning, there's a restaurant called JoeyP. This restaurant is good, slightly more premium, traditional Madeira food, but done in a modern way. This one is very good. Other than that, there's definitely better places elsewhere. Now the weather is changeable, and that can be any time of year it's changeable. Today, for example, it gave wind, and it gave rain. Now we've got the wind, you can probably hear on the microphone, but we have bright blue sunshine. And obviously as you change elevation, that also becomes even more relevant. So no matter what time of year it is, you want to be prepared, you want to bring layers. So pack layers, don't just think that it's summer and you can bring the shorts and the t-shirt. Don't just think that it's winter and you can bring the jacket and the jumpers. You want to bring a little bit of everything. If you wear layers, you're prepared. The other thing to say on the weather, because it is changeable, don't trust the weather apps. They're usually wrong, they're usually changing all of the time. You really want to just look and see, basically. And they even change last minute or minute to minute. However, there is a tip that you can exploit, and that is that there are webcams all over the island. It's on a website. I'll put the website in the description. You can use these in real time to see what the weather is. So if you want to go to the beach somewhere or you want to go to the mountains, you can see what the weather is like there and you kind of know what you're going to expect. For example, if it's raining in Funchal, it might be sunny on the north coast of the island, or east to west, whatever it is, you can check. So highly recommend doing that, especially before you set off somewhere like Pico do Arriero. If it's in the clouds, probably not worth going up there. If it's above the clouds or it's clear, yeah, definitely want to go. So yeah, use those webcams. And remember, pack layers because the weather is changeable. Now, just on the back of that changeable weather packing layers tip, one specific to hiking. Of course, if you're hiking and you're coming here for a hiking trip, do pack layers because the weather really does change very quickly up there with all of the microclimates. The clouds come through, the rain comes through, or it can be excessively hot just because there's no cloud cover and you want to strip down a little bit. But the other thing to say is that these hikes are incredibly technical. Some of them are, or incredibly difficult. To be honest, you have a good spread. You have easy ones, you have medium ones, you have difficult ones, and then you have technical ones. Whichever you're going to do, please bring the right equipment, please bring the right gear, bring a good pair of hiking shoes. Trust me, you'll need it because it does get dangerous up there and accidents do happen. Every year you see news of something happening, someone going missing, someone falling. Obviously have medical insurance just in case. I'm not putting you off, I'm just letting you know. Bring the right stuff, bring the right gear, and I guess be respectful and take care. Now, it goes without saying that Madeira as an island is becoming more and more popular. The change in the last 5 years has been crazy to see. However, even now in 2026, it's becoming even more popular because it's getting placed in the top 10 recommended places to visit in Europe, or the world's best destinations, or the world's best island, European best island. It's winning all these awards, and getting in on all of these lists. So the season is stretching out and the seasons are becoming even more busy. So what does that mean? It means 100% you should visit, for sure. It's an amazing place. But it means you need to book early, whether that's your flights, whether that's your hotel. That's the obvious stuff. But what you should do and what you should book early are your jeep tours, are your excursions, are your activities, the things you want to do, the restaurant reservations. If you want to get the restaurant reservation at 7 o'clock on a Saturday night, good luck, unless you are booking early. So think about that, plan ahead, unless it's a last minute trip, of course, but plan ahead so you don't get disappointed, because there are good tours and bad tours. There are good trips out to see the whales and the dolphins, and there are bad trips to see the whales and the dolphins. You want to make sure you get your first choice, or at least as close to it as possible, so please book early. Hiking. Now, if you go onto Google and search the best hikes in Madeira, you're going to get the same 10 hikes on every single website. Now, there's a reason for that, because those hikes are fantastic, they're beautiful, but because of that, they are so damn popular, so crowded. The number one that I would probably just avoid is Levada 25 Funch, the 25 fountains. It used to be incredible. I did it during 2020 and I was basically on my own. I loved it. But now is the most stinkingly busy hike, and you spend half the time on these hikes standing sideways, letting people go past. It's just not worth it. That's not the point of being in nature, enjoying the landscape. So do some of them, of course. They're busy for a reason, as I said. Pick some of the ones you would like to do, but also download the apps, download All Trails, download Komoot, have a look on them, do a little bit of research and find some off the beaten path tracks. Not off the beaten path as in dangerous, off the beaten path as in not so busy, and I promise you, you'll be rewarded. Some of my favorite hikes, in fact, my favorite hikes are not in those top 10 lists. There are some where I've not even seen people on. I'm gonna keep them to myself. If you find them, good luck to you. But I found them in that way, so I think you should too. And I promise you, your hiking experience on Madeira will be to the next level. Because who wants to just be in the crowds the whole time when you're in nature? Kind of defeats the object of it. This one is a big one. Do not get scammed at the fruit and veg market, Mercado Livradores, because it happens, and it happens a lot. There's a few tips in this tip, but the principle is do not get scammed at this market. Monday to Thursday, if you come in here, you're not going to see it full with fruit and veg. You're just going to see these vendors on the sides. They're going to try and call you and say, "Hi, do you want to taste? Do you want to buy?" The prices are crazy. Now, it's not a scam because the prices are there, but they'll pressure you into buying more. You'll buy a few pieces of fruit and it will cost you an arm and a leg. I mean, I've heard people paying just for a handful of fruit 60, 70, 80, 90 euros. I don't know why people pay it, but it must be social pressure. By the time you get to that stage, it's too late, right? And you end up paying. Not worth it. So, a couple of tips on the back of that. If you come on a Friday or a Saturday, the center of the market is filled with local farmers selling their fruit and veg. Those are fair prices. Well, okay, maybe slightly more than what you would pay in other places, but they're fair prices. So do that. That's a good thing to do. The other thing to say is there are actually fruit and veg shops dotted around Funchal. You'll see them, and those are good places to buy from too. That's where the locals, if you see locals buying, that tends to be the good place, right? People also sell on the street. This can also be good. But yes, the fruit and veg in Madeira is amazing. It's fresh. The tropical fruit is so good, so good. Some of the best in the world for me, but you don't want to be getting ripped off for it. So I personally would just avoid this place. Come in and have a look. Don't buy your fruit and veg here. Buy it elsewhere from those shops, unless it's on a Friday and a Saturday. Just do not get sucked into the sales pitches of the people on the side and the people upstairs. It's the same upstairs as well. Just be careful. There is an alternative market though, only open on the Sundays, and it's one of my favorites. It's called Santo de Serra Sunday Market. The caveat is it's been closed for the last 6 months whilst they repair the roof, but it will open again, and when they do, it's definitely worth a visit. It's about 15 or 20 minutes by car outside of Funchal. You can also take the bus, but I recommend a car and go on the back roads. Don't go on the highway or the Via Rapida, because it's just nice driving through the Madeiran countryside. But when you're there, there's good food, especially the ribs. The pork ribs on the inside are so good. There's good poncha there, but there's also fruit and veg there. Locals from the area selling in that local market at local prices. One of my favorite experiences in Madeira, but do check if it's open, because until it is open, there are little bits open outside of it, but it's not worth it. So make sure it's properly open and then go visit, but that's only on Sundays. Okay, for my next tip, I've come for a glass of wine at Queijaria do Avô. I love this place. Azorian wine, and Azorian white wine is absolutely fantastic. This might be my favorite wine on the entire island. So good, so good. Yes. If you've had a few glasses of wine, or maybe you don't want to hire a car, but you want to get somewhere, you might want to take a taxi. My tip for the taxis, especially from the airport, by the way, is do not get one of the yellow taxis, because they're just too expensive. I'm not saying they're gonna rob you or rip you off or scam you, that's not the case, but they are just very expensive, especially when you have other options, such as Uber and such as Bolt, taxi apps that you can download to your phone. So get them on your phone, get them set up, get your card on there, and definitely use those. Sometimes Bolt is cheaper, sometimes Uber is cheaper, so it's worth checking them both. And very often they'll send you a discount. So from wherever you are in the city or at the airport, make sure you're using Bolt or you're using Uber. The only thing to note on that, if you are using it to go to tourist destinations, okay, you're going to be able to get the taxi because you're based in Funchal, right? But when you're there, when you're in the mountains or you're outside of the city, it's going to be much, much harder to get that taxi, if not impossible. You might be lucky and there might be one nearby because someone might have taken one there, but odds are you're not going to be able to. So don't make that mistake. Work out how you're going to get back. Take a bus, hire a car, take a tour. Do come to Queijaria do Avô and try the white wine and the cheese board. That you won't regret. Another quick one, if you don't want to take the taxi from the airport but want to catch the bus, there is an aero bus. However, although a lot of the buses around Funchal are moving to like a contactless card payment, not card as in card, but a top-up card, the aero bus is still cash only. So come with some euros ready so you can take that aero bus. You don't want to get to it, realize it's cash only, and then miss it and have to wait for the next one. You can get cash out at the airport, but look for the right ATM because you don't want to be paying some disastrous fees. Let me tell you about that one. ATMs. Now, when you're walking around Funchal and probably other places, you're going to see ATMs from Euronet, blue and yellow ATMs, and you want to avoid these at all costs. They charge crazy, crazy fees and terrible, terrible exchange rates. You just do not want to use them. And the annoying thing is, they're usually in places where it's quite easy access. I think they pay the shops or wherever it is, they pay to be in that location. So they're not stupid. They take good locations, convenient locations for you. So you want to use ATMs that say Multibanco on top of them or MB. If you see these ones, they're the local ones, the ones that the locals use, these are completely fine. They're normal ATMs from normal banks. So do not make that mistake. Even if you're desperate for cash, Google on Google Maps, look for a bank and you will find an ATM. I want to tell you about parking because parking is strictly enforced in all of the tourist places and in Funchal itself, and it can be a little confusing. So, blue car parking spaces are always paid. Unless there's a time on the sign that says between these hours it's not, or it is, it's always paid. So look for the parking meter. Don't think you can get away with it because you can't. You'll get a fine. And the fines start at 60 euros, so you definitely don't want that. White parking spaces are free to park. There's not many of them now, but if you find one, you're lucky. So you can park there. If you see a parking space that looks white, or is white, well, if it looks white and it's not, you've got problems. If you find a car parking space that is white but has M on it, you can't park in this. This is for residents. And then obviously, if you have a car parking space with yellow lines, you can't park there full stop. Sometimes you'll also see PSP. This is for the police. And then you'll see ones for taxis, but it'll say taxi on it. Don't think you can get away with parking in them because you won't, and you'll get a ticket and you'll be very unhappy. I mean, you don't want a ticket at any time, especially when you're on holiday. It kind of ruins things, doesn't it? I'm not gonna lie, with a car, parking is an absolute pain in Funchal and around. In every town, it's pretty miserable. You can do it, it's mostly paid, as I say. On a bike, it's much more simpler. That's why I love a bike. You can park in most places. My rule is where you see there's a bike, you can park. And it's always free, never paid. So that helps. And especially if you're traveling around, you just want to stop at a viewpoint quickly and move on, bike is the way to go. On to drinks, and I'm going to call out one, but I would say Madeira wine is probably the most famous around the world, most popular export in terms of alcohol from Madeira. But the drink of Madeira, especially for locals, is Poncha, and you find it absolutely everywhere. I guess you could call it a cocktail. It's made from a fruit juice, so it could be orange, like tangerine, or it could be lemon, or it could be lemon and orange in the Poncha Regional. But there's always a fruit juice element to it. It's then made with honey, local honey, and then the aguardente, the sugarcane rum made on the island. Now, some places use vodka to make more profit on it because sugarcane rum prices have gone up in recent times, and they will do that. But it's not as good. You want to find a good place because not all ponchas are equal. You get good ones and you get bad ones. The good ones are so damn good. And my number one favorite, my recommendation is right here in Funchal. It might be my favorite on the entire island, and that's at this place. It's called Lido's Tavern. He makes an incredible poncha. It's so good, it's so in balance. You taste the honey, you taste the fruit juice, and then smack, you taste the alcohol, but it's not harsh. You get the balance in there, as I said. It's without doubt a must visit. Get it on your list and come and have a poncha here. Besides the fact that they're so friendly and they're such great people and it's such a great atmosphere here. Trust me, the atmosphere here is good. The poncha is standout. I've come to a cafe, a very pretty cafe. I'll tell you the name of the cafe at the end because you 100% want to visit this place, and I'll tell you why. But I'm here to talk about coffee. I've got myself a decaf coffee because you want to make sure you're ordering the right coffee when you visit Madeira. It's easy when you know the names, but the names are not what you'd expect, of course. We're in Portugal, but we're also in Madeira. So I'm gonna go with no milk and then milk. If you'd like an espresso, it's called bica. Very easy, bica. If you would like an espresso with a little bit more water, so a small coffee but black, it is called a carioca de café. If you would like what I would call the equivalent of an Americano, so a big coffee with water, no milk, you order a chino. Very easy, those are your three main ones for no milk. If you would like milk in your coffee, let's start with the small one. So a small espresso shot topped up with milk, that is called garotto, small coffee with milk. If you would like the equivalent of, well, in the middle of a flat white and a cappuccino, it's called a scinese. I've gone for a scinese here. You can see it's very milky, but in this place it comes with a lot of froth, a bit like a cappuccino. It doesn't normally come like this, actually, in most places, but it is a decent sized cup with milk. If you would like a very milky coffee, some people like that, right? It's called a gelao. A gelao. But once you know those things, or you at least know what to look for and their equivalent in the mapping, it's actually not that hard. Now, Funchal is full of cafes, local rustic ones where you can probably get a bica for about 60 cents, and then also now specialty coffee with the wealth of tourism coming in, new places, cooler places are opening. But for me, of all of them, this is my favorite. It's called Choux. It's a little bit hidden, but very central in Funchal. Not only does it have nice coffee and tea, you can come for tea as well, or afternoon tea even. The best thing about it are the pastries. She makes all the pastries here. She's trained, she's Madeiran, trained in Lisbon, and she makes these pastries. I've got one here which is chocolate, salted caramel, and peanut. Let me just show, oh my God. Look at that on the inside. Looks amazing. Let's see how it tastes. She never lets me down, a little bit of everything. That might be one of the best ones I've had here. They change every week. Sometimes they change every day. Absolutely delicious. With a nice coffee, with a nice scinese. I'll leave the link for this one in the description. penultimate one before the bonus. Although the season has extended and it's almost busy all year round, there are still times that are more busy than others, let's say. So if you want to escape the crowds, with the risk of the weather not being perfect, like today is windy, but to be honest, that can happen at any time, book in the quieter months. So late January to early March, late March maybe if you're lucky, is a quieter time. There are some other quieter times. You can do a little research and find out when it kind of suits you, shoulder season, but obviously summer is busy, Christmas is busy, Easter is busy, school holidays are busy, of course. But if you would like to avoid some of those crowds, check out the other months. You might get lucky. I mean, today has been a gorgeous day, minus the wind. It's been absolutely fantastic. In November, when it starts to quieten down, so November to March, end of March, is when the cruise ships start to come in. Now that's when the busy season is meant to be quieter, so they bring the cruise ships in. You can still get lucky. You can get a whole week of sun and you have a fantastic time, but you run the risk of having a storm for the week and you're struggling a bit. But I still think even in the bad weather, even in the rain, there's still things to do and it's still beautiful, especially if you get out in the car or the Jeep tour and you're looking around the island, you can still have a good time. So check that. Prices will be a bit less, rentals will be a bit less, flights will be a bit less. Anyway, on to that bonus, a cheap place to eat. Can you guess where? And the bonus tip, if you want a cheap meal and you don't want to keep going to restaurants or eating in the hotel, you can go to Pingo Doce, the local supermarket. They have a canteen there and it's pretty good value for everything, but not everything is so good. But the roast chicken with up to 3 sides, rice, milho frito, and potatoes is pretty good value, I would say. $7.99 a kilo. What you do is you grab a tray, you grab a plate, you grab your knife and fork, and then you choose what you want. You put it onto your plate and it's weighed, so you pay by weight. So $7.99 a kilo. Is it the best chicken you've ever had in your life? Probably not, but is it good enough for a cheap and easy meal? 100%. Normally I get 2 chicken legs and a little bit of rice, and sometimes a few mil frito on the side. It cost me 5 to 6 euros. It's crazy value, and there's no washing up, and there's no big restaurant bill, let's say. You can ask for peri-peri sauce as well if you want a little bit of a kick and to make it more interesting. I think it's a great value thing. Definitely keep that as an option, especially if you're here for a couple of weeks. All right, that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like to see more when you're planning your trip for Madeira, you can find a video on my recommended itinerary right here.